hope this works. Jeez, I never do this like this. Nobody will notice I'm playing the recording, right? Okay.
Josh,
Hey, Ryan, what's going on?
how you doing there?
I'm okay. What's up?
You trying to play a video?
I was. Oh, did I do it wrong?
Well, I mean, I think there are some better ways to share video besides seeing all of your Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, you can see that?
Yeah, I can
Can you
see
hear
your
the
whole.
sound though?
No, I'm not hearing
You don't even
anything.
hear the sound. Oh man, I
No,
must have
yeah.
really blown it.
You want to
Okay.
try this over? I mean, you're
Yeah.
you're kind of like our expert here.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised I did this too. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate all of your help always. Welcome, everybody. Let's talk about sharing video in Zoom and how not to be a bonehead like me. Um, using YouTube isn't the best way to do it, but I did get a little extra dose of that jazz music. Thanks, Virgil. Tell us what you think. Type into the chat. Type into, yes, this was absolutely a skip, Virgil. We got him. Yeah, type into the Q&A. Have a good time with us. Thanks for spending some part of your Friday afternoon here. The last Friday of every month, we'll be here, except for December. We're not going to do it the last Friday in December. It just doesn't seem proper to do that. So welcome. Glad to have everybody here. Ryan Green is with us. Rob, are you able to turn on your webcam too? Oh, I unchecked it instead of checking it. My bad. Hey, sometimes I feel a little new at this Zoom thing myself. So welcome. We're going to talk about sharing video in Zoom meetings. It's up on your screen now. It's May 28th. Gosh, it's May 28th. Holy cow. Anyway, my name's Joshua Jones. I'm joined by Ryan Green and Rob MacArthur from our team, and we may have some other team members join in. But let's answer your questions as we get into sharing some things about video. So Ryan, how do you think we should start?
Well, we just wrote a blog post recently about sharing video. So I think the first step would be to talk about resolution and what resolution means and how that can impact video being played through your Zoom meeting or webinar.
Yeah, absolutely. And resolution. How many pixels are on your screen at a given time? That's what resolution is to me. So Zoom has some requirements, and we will put up a handy chart. You can check out our blog post. We'll link that in the chat to you, which has the handy chart and all sorts of details that we're going to talk about here shortly. And first off, there are two resolutions you need to keep in mind with Zoom. There is screen sharing resolution, which is 1080p, and there is video resolution, which is 720p. Now, there's a way to optimize within Zoom and also share video through the advanced screen sharing tools, which we'll talk about here shortly. But that both of those options will take that screen sharing content and send it out in 720p instead of 1080p. So something to keep in mind. And do we have a slide that we should put up right now, or is that for
Yeah, I
later?
do. I do have one. I do have one.
I knew you did. Okay, so we've got the same image here. The one on the left is in 720p and the one on the right is on 1080p. And if you take a close look at it, especially if you look at his monitor where it says today's discussion, just that title line, you can really tell the difference. Some of the other points, just, not as crisp. If you look around the chin line of the gentleman in the picture, it's just a little more fuzzy on the 720p, a little bit more defined on the 1080p version. Also, if you look at the desk, look at what's printed on the paper under his elbow. So there's a big drop in quality there. The fuzziness comes in. So when you're starting with your original image, keep in mind that if you're sending it through video and if you're optimizing or if you're using OBS, which we'll talk about a little bit, to send through the video feed, it's coming down to 720p. And it's better to put a controlled compression into your image before putting it into Zoom. What do I mean by that? Take that original image and compress it down to 1080p or even 720, or that original video resolution, and compress it down with a sophisticated compression tool before you put it into Zoom, because Zoom's just going to say, I need to squash this down so I can send it out. And they're going to do it in the most data efficient way. Whereas your image processing, your video output, where you're producing that content, even your slide decks and so forth, maybe you don't want to be sending in a 1900 by something image, because Zoom has to drop that down. And it's, again, going to do it the most efficient way possible. So that's a little lesson on the difference between 720p and 1080p. Now, I was just going to see if we could do a few tricks here. So I've got a bunch of videos queued up. Which one do we start with? Let's go to the fair first. And I'm going to give you a few different examples of how we can play this video. So first off, let's share a region of the screen. And hey, this is going to be a great example of me not prepping in advance. I should have moved that frame right over the video feed. Okay, so now I'm just sharing a read screen, and you can probably tell the video is pretty chunky. It's sending at 1080p. Okay, because I'm just using the screen sharing tool to capture a region of my screen. Now I'll switch it over, sharing the same region of the screen. I don't want to share sound right now. Oh, neat. Just found a new drop-down menu. Now I'm going to reshare that, and I'm going to optimize it. Let me back it up to the beginning and play. Okay, so now it's stepped down to 720p. Can you tell that maybe there's some lack of definition around some of these lines early that you may have seen earlier? But to compensate, maybe this is moving more smoothly. That carousel should probably be going around in a circle much more smoothly than it was before. Okay, so I'm not bothering to share sound. We're talking about playing video. So right now, if I switch my screen share, I'm going to switch off the optimize option. I'm just going back to sharing my full screen. Okay, I would never do this in an event. I don't feel good doing this now. I'm nervous about what you're seeing, but you're seeing my whole display corner to corner, and you're seeing the video player right in the middle. Hopefully there's nothing else that'll pop up on my screen. Again, not my favorite way to share. If I took this video and popped it out to full screen, well, now I'm sharing my full display, and this is probably going to be really chunky because that's a lot more information to send through. So that's why I like to, let me get out of here and go back to that windowed mode. That's why I like to share just the region of the screen. If we're using this method, I'll optimize, I'll double click to share the region. It goes right back to where I set my green frame, where I outline that region. And to do that, I'm just using share screen in Zoom. I go to the advanced option. I share a region of the screen. It will snap back to the region that you used previously, except we found something out, so I won't put that caveat in there. There's one exception. I just can't remember what triggered it. Ryan found it the other day. Sharing the region of the screen, less information to send through, sends through more quickly. So share screen, advanced, share a portion of the screen. Make sure to check the option to optimize if you've got an action-packed video like this one.
Do you want me to tell you the thing that I found the other day?
Tell me the thing you found that resets the framing on the
Yeah,
share region.
it's when you, if you're using the advanced share video, but then also using portion of the screen for maybe something else, maybe a video, but in my case, like I was sharing my portion of my screen to show a PowerPoint. And then when I want to share a video using advanced share video, then when I go back to wanting to share a portion of my screen, which is normally a sticky frame, it now uses the video frame. So in that case, like I had my PowerPoint on one monitor and the video play on the other, and then, so you just have to look out for that.
Yeah. those two don't play nice together. So speaking of using, this is kind of new. I'm going into share screen again in Zoom under advanced. Zoom put out an option for you to share a video directly. So I'm just going to double click the video option in the share screen. I didn't put these on a bunch of slides. We can talk more about it. Let me go to my downloads folder where I have a few videos handy, and this is the same video, but I'm going to use Zoom's built-in video player. So I'm not sharing my screen, I'm actually navigating to the file through the Zoom interface to open that now. So here we go. Now I do have to hit play on it for it to start. And this video doesn't seem to have audio to it. Okay, so similar playback method, similar playback functionality as we'd get through screen sharing, but it's just, I don't have to open the file. I don't have to worry about arranging my screen and showing, my YouTube interface or anything like that.
It hides all the controls, which is really nice, so you don't
Yeah, I can
accidentally show
mouse.
your controls. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
mouse
I can
over.
mouse over it. I can change the volume without the controls, the player controls popping up. Yeah, I'm putting my mouse right over the middle of the image right now, swirling around in a circle. I don't think you can see that either, right? If I was doing screen sharing, you would be able to see my mouse moving over it, as you probably did earlier. Okay, that's two methods. So we've got the option to share screen and share a portion of your screen and optimize for video. We've got the option to use the Zoom built-in video player, which navigates straight to the file. You don't open it on your computer. Zoom looks at it and says, that's the one I'm playing, and it plays it. It's really nice. And then we'll talk about use cases in just a little bit, but let me give you a third demonstration. I'd like to pull up that same file through OBS. So in order to do this, and OBS, Open Broadcast Software, in order to do this, I need to switch my camera over. And let me spotlight myself just to make sure. And here we go. Okay, so there's the fair. Swing, swing, spin, spin. Now I've got myself on Spotlight, so if anybody else made any noise, that's okay. This is going through the video feed. And what's nice is there's no little green tag up top to say Joshua Jones is sharing his screen. But if you look down at the bottom left-hand corner, you can see my name there. So sometimes we'll rename ourselves and just put something discreet there, like a little dot. I just put a period. Oh, let me start that video over. Here it goes again. Actually, you know what? It's time for runners. Yay, go runners, go. Now OBS makes this nice because I can quickly switch between these videos. So I'm done with runners. Let's switch it off. Let's go back to the fair. Let's switch that off. Let's go to, oh, wow, that was impressive. Okay, now OBS is such that I can reframe this. This is a 720p video. Oh, got to start it over. Oh, I think I broke it. Oh, might have to troubleshoot that one. No demo on the 720p video, folks. It just disappeared from my view. Live demos, they're risky. So switching between those videos very quickly is great with OBS. I can't really do that with screen sharing so easily, and the Zoom built-in tool, I could get through between them quickly, but not so instantly as I can here with OBS. Now, there are other tools like OBS, Wirecast, and so forth that can be used in place. OBS is nice. It's free. Let's see. Remember, this is going through the video feed. I can rename myself just to a little dot, or a lot of times when we're working with clients, I'll say, company name, presenter, something discreet.
You know what? Maybe we should go turn your spotlight off and go into gallery view just so everyone gets a sense of like what this is actually doing. Still play your video through your feed, but so everyone can see.
Yeah, if we go to gallery view, I'm just another one of those video feeds up there.
I just wanted everyone to kind of know,
Yeah. And what's nice, it's a good point too. So I'm just going to switch it back to follow host view. I'm going to spotlight myself. So it's video again, full screen. What's nice is, as we're playing back this video and we have guest presenters and so forth going through their presentations, they can keep their webcams on because we've got, the video source that we're playing on Spotlight. So that's handy as well. If we're playing a video through screen sharing, on the other hand, or through the other methods that we mentioned, if somebody has their webcam on, well, then attendees still see that webcam, especially in a webinar format. It looks funny.
Should we talk about the audio with OBS since we're talking OBS?
Yeah, OBS audio, it requires a plugin, but they've been making some updates, and I haven't tested the functionality on all the updates. But I use a plugin called VB Audio Cable, Virtual something audio cable. Oh yeah, hey, we have a couple screenshots here. So what's important is that if you're playing a video that has sound, you want to enable original sound from that quote microphone source. Yeah, even though it's not a microphone that you're technically using, you're spoofing your microphone. You're pretending your microphone is a different audio source. So what you want to do is go into this show in meeting option to enable original sound. And you want to turn off echo cancellation. You want to turn off stereo audio because it saves bandwidth, and I don't think anybody's really going to be bumping this and needing stereo audio. I don't know about you. But high fidelity music mode, you definitely want to have checked because if you have dynamic sound, we've got a client that we're working with right now. Their video starts with this, like, kind of typical do 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 arpeggiated music, like hold music, and it comes in kind of loud and then it fades out. And then Zoom trying to control that audio, it thinks, oh, there's all this background music coming in. I gotta squash that. And it doesn't let it all come through. So once you've checked the option in the settings through the audio settings that we have highlighted there, then you'll see the little button at the top left corner of the Zoom interface. So that's the black. Thank you, Ryan, for highlighting that. And great teamwork here. So this needs to be turned on the audio source that that video is coming from. So there's a little drop-down menu. I should have taken the screenshot from my other computer, but from the drop-down menu there, you can say this source always uses original audio. In that case, here we use VB cable is the one that we found pretty handy. So we make sure that that cable option is set to always use original sound. That way it comes through without Zoom trying to control that, modify it as if it's background noise. If there's music or clapping sounds, clapping sounds still sound like rain. I'm gonna say it. All right, so that's important for your audio sharing. I want to spotlight Krista right now because her cat is like right up in her camera. Here we go, cat time. It just works out that way sometimes. Hey, we're all human except for the cat. So very good. Those are three convenient methods. And then we put together this handy chart. She reads my mind, Ryan Green, all the time. She knew exactly where I was going. We put together this handy chart, and I think we can share the blog link in the chat so that you can check that out and read all the details. We talked about sharing screen without optimizing. When is that useful? Maybe if you're playing back a recording that is actually a bunch of slides or still images. If it's not moving, then is it actually video? If you had text heavy video, if it's more important that you had the text appearing clearly on the screen than having smooth moving video, then go ahead and share that video without optimizing. A use case example is we've had clients, we have a previous webinar, we just want to play it back. Okay, easy. I'm going to play that. It's mostly slides. It's all slides. There's no video in it. Cool. Even simpler. Sometimes I might take that a step further and not share the video visually. I might just open the slides and click along with the video. Bonus tip. Okay, so that's sharing without optimizing the screen. We talked about optimizing the screen, of course, smooths things out, 720p, you're dropping it down. um, again, the text, small details start to fade away. Our advanced options, I like that advanced screen sharing option in Zoom, but I don't know if it's great for queuing up multiple videos in a row. I think that's kind of the weak spot. If you've just got one, you want to make sure it plays, let people control their own volume on it, I think, as well. I may have just misspoke.
I don't
And
think
then,
so, but I could be
no,
wrong.
okay, darn.
I don't know. I don't know for sure,
I think
honestly.
I saw a note about that. It
Yeah,
jumped into
it's
my
totally
head.
possible.
And then OBS or the similar applications, I think the big thing there is, especially if you have multiple videos that you're going from one piece of content to another, really simplifies things and gives you a lot more control. Plus, you can do the neat things like, I don't know, I've got a timer that I put up for some of our clients, and I do that through OBS. We've worked with groups doing fundraising, and we use OBS to put up a fundraising thermometer for them on the screen. So it's not through screen sharing. It doesn't take up as much of the screen as this slide is right now. It's just another tile up there with those other video feeds that are talking to them. Hopefully that gives you a lot of ideas and maybe some use cases that you want to implement with sharing videos. I want to see if from the team, if we want to talk about any fun use cases or challenges, anecdotes?
Quick comment, Josh.
Hmm.
So I really like the functionality of the advanced video sharing that's been recently added that you demoed. I was almost exclusively using OBS when I was dealing with videos that had to have a good sync, right? So that if there was a talking head
Hmm.
and I needed to make sure that that voice was synced up, there's some tools in OBS that allowed me to do that pretty accurately. What I found with the advanced video sharing is that it does a great job with it. And so I was
Hmm.
like testing all my videos and I ran it through a couple of our clients to see if they had preference over one or the other, and they were identical. And so just to your point, if you have a single video, just let Zoom do the heavy lifting. If you have multiple videos and you're switching back and forth, OBS is your best friend.
Yeah, and you get the advantage with OBS or, anything you send through the video feed, it doesn't have that green tab up top. So right now, since Ryan's sharing her screen, you see that you are viewing Ryan's screen. If I do the video sharing through OBS, if it's a good use case, then we don't get that little green tab. It's easier for people to pretend it's live. So if you ever get that ask, if they want this pre-recorded content to look live, if people are savvy with Zoom, they know it's screen sharing content. That's not live. More discussion. What else is out there? Questions? Feel free to type in, everybody.
Yeah.
I can
Oh,
mention
go ahead,
here.
Krista.
Sorry, I was just going to mention here. I think I've mentioned it in one of the other reboot and rejoins we've done in the past, where I really like using OBS to share a loop of the intro slides at the beginning. If you just have like a couple of slides that run on a loop, I'll make a short video of that and then share it through OBS like a video, and all of the same advantages that you just mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of times we get that request, especially for those, slide montages that folks want to share at the beginning, those annual meetings where they take a look back. It's even if they send you a handful of slides, like Chris is saying, you can easily even from within PowerPoint, export that into an MP4 file and just drop it into OBS. Just watch out for those text heavy bits. If there's fine print, not going to look so great. Okay, just taking a look at so yes, question here. Yeah, internet connectivity. It's always a thing. Yes, definitely. So bandwidth usage is going to increase when you're cranking out video through screen sharing and potentially sharing your webcam video and so forth. So Wi-Fi, I wouldn't really trust Wi-Fi for making sure that my videos play back well. I don't know if anybody has any other suggestions. I've got a lot of videos and a lot of a crucial event coming up. I'm making sure I'm rebooting, just clearing up stuck processes before I get on with the client.
I ran into a CPU issue. So bandwidth is great here. I'm hardwired, especially when I'm sharing video. to your point, Josh, but I ran into a capping out of my CPU. So I have an i5, generation i5. I'm PC based, and an i7. And so anytime that I'm sharing videos, I always switch over to my i7 machine to avoid that.
Mm. Yeah, definitely a good point. Heavier on the processing, especially using OBS, I'd imagine. You've got another application in the mix. It's queuing up multiple files potentially. It's on the ready. Okay, we've got that blog post in the chat. I'd encourage everybody to take a look at that. Anything else we want to cover? I think, it's a Friday. We never have to go the full time.
I think we covered all things video. Besides
we did.
actually recording video and all of that. Save that for another day.
Oh, you don't want to get into that now. Okay. Yeah. Did I ever finish that blog post? There
No,
are some good tips for recording video that you want to play back as if they're live, and we'll get into that in a future date.
Yeah, I guess we're good. I will unless anyone has other questions, we will.
Let's give it a sec here. Do we have the tune? Can we hear the tune again?
Oh,
the
sure.
jazz.
My pleasure.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us today. We hope to see you again next month. And between now and then, we hope your webinars and meetings are incredibly successful. Thanks again. See ya.